Thank you to Red Magic for sponsoring today's video. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm ExxotikGaming. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, I'd like to show you all the most powerful gaming phone ever created. And I'm not just saying that. This phone actually has the fastest CPU ever, the first ever gaming phone with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 leading version, which is different from the regular Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. It's just basically a more powerful version of that. And it's achieved the highest score ever in the Antutu benchmark test, with a score of 23,669,542. This is the Red Magic 9S Pro. This is literally a feat of engineering and absolutely the type of phone that you should be considering if you're wanting to play some of the top-of-the-line mobile games at the highest graphics for the longest time with no lag and without your phone overheating. This phone did not just score well on paper, it has a whole slew of other features and upgrades that make it leagues ahead of all the other gaming phones out there. I really like it. I have very much been enjoying testing out this phone over the last little while, and if you would like to pick up one for yourself, I have a link down below at the top of the description. You can click on that and you can get one of your own Red Magic 9S Pros. So let's get started with the unboxing. I got the Snowfall version, which has 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage. That's the top of the line version, though there are some other versions in different colors that might be a bit better for you because they're less expensive. You have your sleek Cyclone and brand new Frost color, which I actually think looks really cool. They come in a variety of different gig and storage options. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, full transparency, any option you choose will be more than capable of running any of your favorite mobile games at the highest graphics. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. It's honestly more just which one looks the coolest to you. When you open up your silver box, you're first met with the usual. A little sleeve that has some of the standard stuff you get with any phone, a SIM tool, some paperwork, a warranty card, and then something you don't have with every phone, a case. You always need a case for your phone, and it really sucks that the vast majority of companies don't even give you one. You have to buy a case separately, so it's really nice that Red Magic actually gives you one right out of the box. But take a look at this phone, dude. It is absolutely insane. I personally am of the belief that gaming stuff should be bold, should be bright, and should be way different from the boring and generic stuff that you have if you wanted to get something that wasn't gamer-esque, you know? The Red Magic 9S has this futuristic cyberpunk type of look and feel. I especially love the Snowfall and Cyclone version with this big display, boxy design, lights, and so much more. It stands out in a crowd. If you had one and people knew about it, they would know you had this thing from like a mile away. But I understand it's not for everybody, so if you want it to be a little bit more subdued, then you can get the Sleet and Frost versions, which are a bit more conservative in how they're designed. You also have an 80-watt super fast charger and the signature Red Magic red cable in the box. And yes, I do think it's a very fast charger. This phone comes with a 6,500 milliamp hour battery. That's a very big battery for a gaming phone like this. So you can play for a long period of time, much longer than you would with like an average phone, for instance. Then once your phone finally does die, you can put it on that 80-watt charger. It'll charge up very fast to 100%, and then you can game for a long time afterward. You're not gonna have to be out of the game for very long. This phone does very well in terms of its battery. Now let's talk about the display, dude. This display looks amazing, and it honestly looks so much better in person than it does on video. I don't have the best camera in the world to show all this type of stuff, so just trust me when I say this. When you actually look at this phone in person, it looks really high-end. It's a 6.8-inch flat display, no weird curved edges like you had a few years ago with phones, with no dumb notch or camera hole. You can completely immerse yourself in any game that you're playing. With a 93.7% screen-to-body ratio, there are almost no bezels at all. So when you look at this thing from top down, it almost looks like you're just holding a screen, and that's it. And that's just the coolest thing in my personal opinion. It has a 960 hertz touch sampling rate, so very fast and reactive whenever you touch something on your screen, and it also has a 120 hertz refresh rate. At this point in time, I think it's necessary to have at least 90, preferably 120 hertz refresh rates on phones. Some of the older models had 144 hertz and 165 hertz refresh rates, but in my personal opinion, those phones lost battery pretty quickly. I think 120 hertz is like that perfect sweet spot. You're honestly not even gonna notice any difference between 120 and 165. So you can have a super smooth display when you're gaming and just scrolling around on your phone, but at the same time have better battery because it's not 165, it's 120. Your phone is refreshing the pixels a little less often. Now, one thing you might have noticed is there's no front camera. Or is there? Yes, there actually is. This phone has an under-display front-facing camera. You might be able to see it. It's really hard. And as I said, I don't have the best camera to actually show what it looks like. You could probably see it a little bit. But that means that there's no notch, no top bezel, no little hole punch where your camera would be. And that means completely uninterrupted gaming. I'll be real with you guys, it's not going to be winning any awards or anything, but I personally love a display like this that's completely uniform on all sides. And for me, as a gamer, I can sacrifice my camera quality if it means I'm going to be more immersed in my game, and there's not some dumb notch that's going to be kind of blocking some of the stuff that I would see in game. And in all honesty, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I don't think mobile gamers are the types of people that are going to be taking 10,000 selfies every day and then posting them to Instagram. So like, I think for the vast majority of people, they aren't even going to care if the front-facing camera isn't very good. Now though, I got to talk about the cooling systems this phone has because I think that's one of the shining aspects of the Red Magic 9S Pro. This phone does a really good job at staying cool while gaming. They've gotten a lot better over the years. I have the Red Magic 6, for instance, that came out like, I don't know, 4 years ago or something like that. And that phone gets very, very hot now whenever I try to play a game on it. Red Magic 5G also got extremely hot. But now this phone is leagues ahead of even the older models, which back at that time, those older models were literally better than most of the competition. This phone has a large vapor chamber plate, which enhances heat dissipation. Graphene and copper foil is underneath the screen to promote heat conductivity. There is a special frost cooling gel that improves thermal efficiency by reducing thermal resistance and lowering the core temperature. And most impressive of all, I still think this is the coolest freaking thing, there is a built-in high-speed turbo fan within the phone itself. Look, dude, I see so many people that buy a phone that has great specs. Then when they start playing games, they notice the phone gets really hot and it sucks. It burns their hands, right? Then they have to go to Amazon. They have to search up some external fan, buy one, connect it to their phone. And it's this big clunky thing that you have to like mess around with every single time you're playing a game. It sucks. Why not have that built within the phone itself? It's so much better and so much more efficient and a lot sleeker, to be completely honest. This isn't like a first generation thing too. They've been doing this for many years. They've gotten very, very good at this internal fan feature. It's the best out of any other phone on the market. And yeah, honestly, out of any gaming phone I've ever tested, this phone runs the coolest for the longest time for the games that I play. But we can't forget about the other amazing design features this phone has, like the special care to minimize hand discomfort while gaming. I'm talking about the back of the phone. You can see it right here. Look at this thing. It's completely flat. Tell me any other phone that does this. And tell me this. How many times are you playing a game on your phone and then this big gigantic camera bump just gets in the way? Maybe it's sharp and it's just uncomfortable when you're holding your phone for long periods of time. You don't have to worry about that at all with the Red Magic 9S Pro. There is no camera bump at all. It's completely smooth and it feels so much better. Speaking about the cameras though, what about the back cameras? Well, they're not going to be winning any awards here. They're not the best in the entire world. But this phone isn't really trying to compete with other smartphone manufacturers in this aspect. You have a 50 megapixel Samsung main camera with optical image stabilization, and then a 50 megapixel Samsung ultra-wide camera to get those wider angle shots. I'm going to show you a few different pictures that I've taken both inside and outside over the past day or two, both with the main camera and the ultra-wide camera, and you can see it's still perfectly acceptable. Red Magic phones have gotten much better cameras over the years, and I think for the vast majority of people, you'll be perfectly fine with what you get here. And what I wanted to do was just take a quick back camera video. This is essentially what it would look like if you're recording something outside. I didn't want to go outside, but like I'm using the natural light right now, and it's pretty good. I mean, as I said, it's not going to be winning any awards or anything, but for most people, it's going to be perfectly fine. And here's my dog. I'm testing it out now inside with some lower light. Honestly, perfectly fine.
As I said, for the vast majority of people, they're not going to have any issues with this sort of thing. Good boy.
Next up though, let's talk about the gaming mode this phone has. You turn on this little red trigger, it plays this cool animation, and then you have all of your games listed right here, ready to go. You have so much customizability for all of your games. You just press this little button right here, and you can change everything from adjusting accidental edge touches, adjusting performance, changing the GPU settings from power saving to high quality mode, and so much more. It literally has everything that you want. And not only that, once you actually open up a game with this gaming mode enabled, it'll actually clear up the RAM, do a whole bunch of other stuff, focus all the phone's performance on the game itself, and then when you swipe from the side here, you have a whole slew of new settings that you can customize. There are all these different settings that you can turn on and off from the left side. There are so many more things that you can switch on from the right side, like turning on your fan, turning on a screen recording, connecting controllers right to your phone. You can even take notes and have them display over your screen if you forget something for a specific game. And you can even customize your shoulder triggers. Now hold on. What the heck are shoulder triggers? Well, they're these little buttons that you can see on the side of your phone. These things have been on Red Magic devices for a while now, and they have completely revolutionized mobile gaming. You can essentially turn your phone into a controller whenever you have these things enabled. You know how normally with a controller you have these physical buttons up at the top that you can press to either aim or shoot or do whatever the heck else you want in a game? You can customize your shoulder triggers to do the exact same thing as a regular physical controller. So for a game like Arena Breakouts, where it's very important to see as much of your screen as possible, normally, if you're playing on a different phone, you're going to have your thumbs taking up space when you're aiming and then you're firing. Now, you can move them away and have more screen space available to see enemies because you now have your shoulder triggers customized to either aim or fire. You can press this button right here, and then you can move your L and R buttons to wherever you want on your screen. And then once you do that, you can literally just press these buttons on the side of your phone to aim and then to fire or do whatever the heck else that you want your shoulder triggers to do. And that's not even all of it. If you head over to your Super Bass tab, you can do everything from playing AAA games right on your phone with their built-in Gravity X mode. You can project your mobile game screen onto a PC to just play with a bigger screen, and even connect a keyboard and a mouse for any applicable games. There's also an entire library of plugins that you can enable and disable whenever you want to enhance your gameplay experience. From changing how footsteps and other sounds appear in-game to make it easier to spot people, to adjusting sound frequencies so you're more easily able to hear distant gunshots or footsteps as opposed to, like, you know, the wind blowing in the trees. You can tone down the wind sound, tone up the footsteps, and you can mess with that type of stuff. To a freaking scout mode where you can literally zoom in the center of your screen when you're scoping in on a gun so you can see somebody from very, very far away. And it literally is like a telescope setting that you can just have enabled on your phone. I mean, dude, they literally have everything here. Everything that you could possibly think of and want. This enhances your gameplay experience so much. It is mind-boggling to me. And I feel like once you get a Red Magic device, you're gonna never wanna go to anything else for mobile gaming because there's just too many things you would lose if you switch to something else. And that's kinda sorta what happened to me. I have a whole bunch of different phones, Red Magic devices, and other company devices. I can use whatever one I want, but I keep constantly going back to my Red Magic devices to make my YouTube videos. They really are special, and in my personal opinion, are the best mobile phones geared specifically for mobile gamers. There are other gaming phones out there, but from my personal experience, I've not had the best luck with them. There's this one company where I had 2 gaming phones from them, and both of those gaming phones died. The display just randomly died for both of those phones. I actually sent in the second phone for them to repair, and they literally lost my phone. I still don't have it. That happened like a year ago. I still constantly reach back out to them saying, hey, can you find my phone? And they can't. They've never sent me a replacement, and that's it. Now, I obviously have no idea how the repair process is with the Red Magic phones. It might not be that great as well, but at least with Red Magic devices, they are much less likely to break, so you might never even need to send them to the company for repair. I have had 8 Red Magic phones over the years, and the oldest ones still work as well as the newest ones. I'm having no issues with them, and I actually use each and every one of these phones every single day. There's one game in in particular that I'm completely addicted to, that I have many different accounts on, and I have one account for each of my phones. So I open it up every single day on each of my phones, and they all run great. They all work well, and I've never had any issues with them. And that honestly sort of concludes everything. I know it was a very in-depth video, a lot of information, but I seriously cannot stress enough how much I love Red Magic devices. I use them for every single one of my own YouTube videos. So if you want to use the same phone that I have and so many other YouTubers have right now, then this is the phone to get. If you'd like to get your hands on a Red Magic 9S Pro like me, then as I said in the beginning of the video, I have a link down below at the top of the description. You should click on that, get your own Red Magic 9S Pro, and once you do, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know down below in the comments your opinions because, yeah, a lot of people probably want to hear some opinions from other people, not just me. But hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please take a second and leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode.